Alrighty. How's it going, everyone? January 13th, it's a Sunday. And let's take a look at the overall broad markets. S&P, take a look at gold, oil, throw in XBI, why not? And we'll look at some bigger names such as Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Facebook, those big guys. So the S&P, daily time frame. Here's where we are today. Right here, past 3 days, kind of had trouble breaking through that 259 level. Past 3 days, it's been clear resistance, and Monday, we'll see if we can break above it. As of right now, we are just bouncing off of this tremendous sell-off. Yes, we did form a higher low and continue on to a higher high, which is good. But if we take a step back, and let's look at the weekly time frame, all we're really looking to set on the weekly time frame is a lower high. We've seen this level here be clear resistance 3 times, 280. Yeah, that 280 level. And then obviously we had the dump, nice bounce back. And we are only just looking to set a daily lower high. So, with that being said, to know when that weekly lower high is going to be set, we obviously zoom into the daily time frame, and when we look for that daily, when the daily uptrend is lost, so right now we technically do have a daily uptrend, higher high and higher low. When we start seeing lower highs and lower lows, then we know that that weekly lower high will be set. So it's kind of a much longer term outlook for what I'm looking at. And of course, if we zoom into the 1 hour, it's getting really tight on the 1 hour time frame. I believe we technically did break here, but we bounced red. It's just so clear that we want to bounce through that 259, but we are not able to do so. So an loss of the hourly uptrend will indicate the daily top is in, and that's that. I don't expect the S&P to rocket all the way up to all-time highs, but I just follow what the charts are saying, and as of now we are in a daily uptrend. Until the weekly trend changes, then I will get more bullish on a longer term time frame, but as of now I am staying cautious. Alright, let's look at XBI. XBI, a lot stronger than the S&P in my opinion. Wow. Oh my goodness, talk about a bounce. Hold on, LABU. That must have been an insane play. 24 all the way to 47. Yep, pretty much 100% run. That must have been nice. XBI. LABU is just a three times leverage bull ETF of XBI, pretty much. So, same type of deal though. We're just looking, this is a lower high. All it is really is a lower high right now. And until we break this level right here of 85.33, that's all we're looking to set is just a lower high. And we'll be looking for consolidation. And of course, that'll mean lose of the hourly uptrend. And when that happens, that daily top will be in. So I would stay cautious on XBI. Let's go to USOIL. Oil. So oil is one thing I am watching very closely because I do want to play USO or maybe UW2, the smaller position, but we have recovered very nicely from oil. Now, one thing I do want to point out, and I've pointed it out before, is the bullish divergence we're seeing with the RSI. So as the price action continues to go down, we got very oversold right in here. You can see the RSI was at its lowest point, and it hasn't been that low since then. So as the price keeps on going down, the RSI is actually recovering, and as we're hitting new lows, the RSI does not even come close to this low down here. So the RSI is trending upward, the price action is trending downward. That indicates that there's bullish divergence and a bounce is due. Now, for the bounce, this could have been the extent of the bounce. However, I don't believe that opportunity has extinguished itself. I think that we could be pulling back, kind of like for an inverse head and shoulders pattern, if you're familiar with that. So here's one of the shoulders, here's the head, and I'm going to be looking to form another shoulder and then a break of the neckline. So ideally we would like to see some daily consolidation, healthy selling, maybe some sideways action, a little bit down would be fine, but then we need to see it come back up towards that neckline, which is pretty much where we're at now, and then we need to break that level, and then we should see some significant follow through. So I will be looking for consolidation. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame, and it looks like we barely broke the 4-hour uptrend just by looking at it, but lower wicks indicates bulls buying these dips. However, this was the level to hold right there, 51.34. We did break 51.34, but only by a few cents, 51.17, only 20 cents. That's nothing too crazy, but I would be cautious. If we fail to set a higher high, we will know that the 4-hour trend has likely changed, and then of course we'll have to see lower highs and lower lows, and that will indicate consolidation. And of course on the hourly time frame is a more zoomed in approach. As you can see, we barely broke that level, but these wicks got bought up. That's what the wicks indicate, buying of that dip. So we could very well see some more upside on Monday, but we would have to break that high of 53.29 to see continuation. And that's oil. All right, let's look at GOLD daily time frame. Okay, so gold's getting tight. If we zoom out, gold, I'm not too much of a fan of playing gold. I do know some people that are getting really into the whole, the U.S. dollars, a fiat currency, and I do understand. I used to be on that train a few years ago where, I thought our economy was going to go to complete shit. But honestly, it's more worth my time focusing on how to make more dollars with investing and trading rather than just buying gold, the physical asset, and watching it appreciate like $10 in a year. So gold on the daily time frame pretty much going sideways, getting tighter. Some nice consolidation, I would say, on the daily time frame, but nothing crazy. We did get overbought for a bit. That was up here, and we're just cooling off the RSI as of now. So if we zoom out, I kind of want to look at the weekly time frame, see what's going on here. Okay. Really, God, gold is so slow watching it. Obviously, the next resistance level, in my opinion, is going to be all the way up here, but we would have a ways to go until we hit 1363. But on the weekly time frame, this is a weekly uptrend. We could be looking for some weekly consolidation, which would be normal, nothing out of the ordinary, no red flags. We saw that boom, higher low onto higher highs. Now we need another higher low. All right, let's look at AAPL. All right, so looking at the weekly time frame, Apple is oversold on the weekly time frame. It does look like they're due for a bounce. I'm just going to grab a sip of water. It does look like they're due for a bounce. And I have a good buddy of mine who is heavily invested in Apple, and he's a fundamental trader, and or investor, I should say. And he's just baffled by how much it's sold off. And I know there's a lot of people in the same boat that have a lot of money tied up in Apple. But the bright side is it does look like it could bounce on the weekly time frame, which could mean a multi-day bounce. So we're going to zoom into the daily time frame and see when that bounce is going to get started. And how do we know that that bounce is going to get started? Is when the daily trend changes. So once the daily trend shifts from a downtrend to an uptrend, we will know that that bottom is set and that we are looking for a daily bounce. Right now, all we are in is a daily downtrend. So what we need to see happen, we need to see a higher low form compared to the all-out low, which is down here. So we need a higher low and then continue on to a higher high and beat these resistance levels, which were previous daily lower highs. And of course, we would need to see a continuing higher low pattern, which would that would just be the daily uptrend. That would be the bounce on the daily time frame. But I do believe Apple is due for a bounce. That's my opinion on Apple. Obviously, haven't closed above the middle Bollinger Band in over a month. So getting close to it, we're probably going to shy away from it a bit. But once we start closing over it, that'll be a good sign. Amazon. So Amazon, yeah, had a really nice bounce. We've seen a lot of different securities have nice bounces. Ooh, I'll say it again. Technically, as of now, we are just looking for that daily lower high, which could be set. But really, in order to for the bulls to show some strength, we would ultimately need to break that level of 1778, which is this next resistance level of the peak up here. And more than likely, if and when we did break that, I'm not saying that we're rocketing all the way back to all-time highs. We would still need to set a higher low compared to this low down here, which could be a lot of room. So we would need to set that higher low and then continue on to higher highs. So Amazon, I'm not trading it. I have another buddy who's in Amazon, but he's, I'd say, more or less involved with trading the stock. He just wants to have money in something. But anyway, so the hourly time frame, how do we know if the bounce is over, right? So when are we going to start looking for consolidation? When we lose the hourly uptrend. So zooming in, have we lost it? Boom, boom, boom. Ooh, we're getting tight. I'd say we did test this level right here on this candle. So notice we trade sideways, boom, came down, held this low right there, came back up. We're getting really tight going sideways consolidation. We are cooling off the hourly RSI. You can see down here we were hourly overbought, and now we're cooling it off, which is good. So ideally for the bulls, this is just sideways consolidation, getting ready for another big move up. So obviously if we see a break to new highs on the hourly time frame, then bulls are in full control. There's no problems with the hourly uptrend. And if we do break to a new low, form a lower high, lower low, then we know consolidation is going to start on the daily time frame. Facebook. We'll also look at Facebook on the weekly time frame first. Okay. So one thing to note, I do talk about bullish and bearish divergences, and I do see something interesting on Facebook. Just gonna grab another sip of water. And that is, and it's not super clear, but it could be a hint that we could see a nice move up on the weekly time frame. So one thing that I would keep an eye on. Okay, so two instances of bullish divergence. And again, this is on the weekly time frame. It's not as perfect clear, but hear me out. So price is coming down on the weekly time frame. We set a low here, right? The RSI goes to 27, very low on the weekly time frame. We come up, bounce a bit, cool off, and we set a new low on the weekly time frame in the price action, right? Price action sets a new low. Yet if you look at the RSI did not go as low as 27 as it did over here. Over here it only went to 31. So when the price goes lower, the chart goes lower, but the RSI trends upward, that's bullish divergence. So it's interesting because it also happens with the peaks over here. So, and again, it's not a vast difference, but this is still higher. So when I say, we bounced from here, set a peak right here, came down, and here's where we are right now. There's the top of our candle. So if you look at the RSIs, the peak right here, that's where the RSI is, which was 39.8. We came down, and technically we're lower right now than we were right here. But if you look at the RSI, it is significantly higher than this previous peak. So technically the price is downtrending and the RSI is uptrending. That's also another sign of bullish divergence, in which, we could see some strength from the bulls on a very drawn out period in multiple days. So let's look at the daily. And yeah, I really do actually feel okay about Facebook. So ideally what I would like to see some more consolidation and just form a higher low, and not dip down too much, but just a little bit of a higher low in comparison to this low down here, and then really bust through these levels of resistance with some conviction. I do think Facebook is ready to break out of this daily downtrend, and it could be something I'm watching. I would definitely keep an eye on that. I might even play that. Who knows? In I'm trying to build up a third account for investing and trading, and so I might buy into that account with it. So Facebook looking pretty good. Like I said, I would love to see some consolidation. And if we don't see consolidation, and if we just bust through this 147.19 level, that's also a good thing. We're breaking through key resistance. Again, I would like to see some consolidation after that point, and then move on to a higher high on the daily time frame. So that's pretty much it, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. If you do appreciate the content, I would love if you subscribe. I try to put these videos out daily, and I do appreciate it when people comment and subscribe. So thanks again, and we'll be tuning in tomorrow for a review of the Canadian MJ space, as well as another S&P video. All right, we will see you tomorrow.